Hello everybody and welcome back my continuation of my book reading of The Invisible Man. Chapter 17. The Experiment. For a moment Camp sat in silence, staring at the back of the headless figure at the window. Then he rose, took the Invisible Man's arm and turned him away from the view. "You're tired," he said. "And while I'm sitting down, you walk around. Have my chair." He got up and stood between Griffin and the nearest window. For a time Griffin sat silently, and then he went on with his story. "I'd already left the college," he said, "when that happened. It was last December. I had taken a room in London in a big house in Great Portland Street. It was like all a dream, that short visit to my father in my old home. When I returned to my room, it seemed like walking from a dream to reality. Here were the things I knew and loved. Here was the equipment. The experiments were arranged and waiting. And now there was hardly any difficulty left, beyond the planning of details. I will tell you, Kemp, sooner or later, all the complicated details. We need not talk about that now. For the most part, except for certain words I choose to remember, they are written in those books that tramp has hidden in a way that only I can understand. We must hunt him down. First I tried some wild wool. It was the strangest thing in the world to see it lose its substance, like smoke, and disappear. I could hardly believe I had done it. I put my words into the emptiness, and there was the thing as solid as ever. I felt it and threw it on the floor, and I had little trouble finding it again. And then I heard a noise behind me, and turning, saw a white cat, very dirty, outside the window. A thought came into my head. "Everything is ready for you," I said. I went to the window, opened it, and called softly. She came in. The poor creature was thirsty, and I gave her some milk. After that, she went smelling around the room, plainly with the idea of making herself at home. The invisible wool upset her a bit. You should have seen her attack it. But I made her comfortable on my bed. "And then you made the cat invisible?" "Yes. It took 4 hours." "You don't mean to say there's an invisible cat in the world," said Kemp. "If it hasn't been killed," said the Invisible Man, "why not?" "Why not?" repeated Kemp. "Go on." He was silent for a few minutes and then continued. "My only clear thought," he said, "was that the thing had to be completed. And it had to be done soon, for I had little money left. After a time I ate some food and went to sleep in my clothes on my bed. I was woken by a loud knock at the door. It was the owner of my room. He said I had been herding a cat in the night. He was sure. He wanted to know all about it. I told him there had been no cat in my room. Then the noise of my experiments could be heard all over the house, he said. That was true, certainly. He came into the room, asked me what I was doing, and said it had always been a respectable house. In the end I got angry, pushed him out and shut the door. He made some noise outside, but I didn't listen, and after a time he went away. But I didn't know what he planned to do, nor even what he had the power to do. To move to new rooms would have meant delay. I had £20 left in the world, most of it in a bank. If he brought the police, my room might be searched. What could I do? Disappear? Of course, it was all done that evening and night. There was some pain at first. I felt sick. At times, I cried out. I talked aloud to myself, but I did not give up. I shall never forget seeing my hands. They became white as white paper and then slowly became like glass. And then they had disappeared. At first I was weak as a little child, walking on legs I could not see. I slept during the morning, pulling a sheet over my eyes to shut out the light, and I was woken again by a knocking. My strength had returned. I sat up, listened, and heard talking. And soon the knocking was repeated and voice called. To gain time, I answered them. My window opened onto a roof. I stepped through it, closed it, stood outside and watched. The old man and his two sons came into the room. You may imagine their surprise at finding the room empty. One of the younger men rushed to the window at once, threw it open and stared out. His eyes and his thick-lipped, bearded face came close to my own. He looked right through me. So did the others. The old man went and looked under the bed. While they were all talking together, I came back into the room, slipped past him and went down the stairs. In one room, I found a box of matches, and when they had come down, I returned to my own room, set fire to the papers, the bed covers and the furniture. You set the house on fire? Set the house on fire, yes. It was the only way to hide my tracks. For the next hours, he went on with a story, and Kemp listened. It was a story of how the invisible man had got some clothes, how he lived by getting food and drink whenever he could, of the shelter he found and the beds he slept in, until he came to Ipping. And that was the end of chapter 17, The Experiment. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.